I'm about to take you through a very honest ride of the Phantom, the Fury. I mean, it's all here, and oh boy have we waited for it. I've played a crap ton of games from the time that this game was announced until now, and playing a ton of indie games the past 2 years has made me come to expect certain things depending on the size and budget of the team working on the game. And for that, I want to mention a recent one, Bears in Space, a phenomenally high quality game developed by 3 people only. It has great visuals, funny jokes, amazing level design, great enemies, and a ton of weapons, all for the price of 20 buckaroonies. And honestly, that sets the bar pretty damn high when it comes to my expectations. I just can't deny it. And seeing as Phantom Fury has an even bigger team behind it and a higher price tag on it, well, my expectations are that this should deliver quite good in terms of quality at least. And don't get me wrong here, I know that they are 2 completely different games. I'm saying this to let you know that my expectations on Phantom Fury delivering a quality experience is pretty high. But that said, I always have been and always will be a simple man that ain't too complicated when it comes to having a good time. But does it live up to the high quality expectations that I've set for it? Well, my name is Slim from Sweden, and I'm here today to let you know if it did or if it didn't. So let's do this. So to begin this journey, I want to share a little information on 3D Realms. I mean, many of us know this name fondly from our younger days, and while the name is the same, the company is not the same as it was in our younger days. I cannot tell you how many or if any of the old school devs are working in the company right now, but I can tell you that it is a newfound studio that is simply rocking the same name as the one from the 90s. Originally founded by Scott Miller in the late 80s, and yet again founded by Scott Miller in modern times. He is no longer with the company and is now working for the publisher called Apogee. What I'm trying to say is, don't mix up the publisher 3D Realms from the 90s based in the USA to the 3D Realms in modern times based in Denmark. The more you know. I'm by no means saying that the modern 3D Realms is bad though. They have done some great stuff for the boomer shooter scene, a scene that I am fondly in love with. But the question is, how did they manage with Phantom Fury, their latest title, developed by their in-house studio Slipgate Ironworks that has a really wonky record when it comes to delivering polished games? Will they stay on that record or deviate from it? That's the question that we're here to find out. Let's do it!
Shelly, you're awake. Apologies for the rude awakening, but there's no time.
So Phantom Fury, my friend, the latest entry from 3DR and Slipgate Ironworks, follows the story of Shelly Bombshell Harrison, known from their previous modern build engine games called I Am Fury and I Am Fury Aftershock. And yes, no, I'm not mentioning the top-down Bombshell Harrison shooter. It's not worth it, okay? Now in Phantom, Harrison gets abruptly awoken from her coma many years after the events of I Am Fury. She wakes up in a science facility as it seems the facility's security has been breached. She finds herself with a new robotic arm and receives yet again a mission to find the demon core to save all of mankind. The story is mostly told through comms dialogue via the commander and Shelly, but once in a while you do actually come across a handful of NPCs that can actually talk to you face to face, and it goes something like this.
Well, it's definitely open now.
Oh, thank you. I thought I'd be spending the rest of my days in here. Is there any way I can repay you?
Yeah, do you know a way out of here?
Yes, I believe all the primary exits are locked. Right! There's an exhaust chamber beneath the rocket with a maintenance tunnel. That was quite gruesome. I'll find my own way out. Thank you for your help, and best of luck.
No problem. Stay safe out there.
I mean, what is he touching here? The animation that we're seeing here does not look charming or old school at all. This just looks right out bad, and this goes throughout the handful of NPCs that you come across in the game. The story overall, however, won't be anything that sticks with you or shocks you beyond belief, but it does the job of a regular action flick, and it does it decently. It does have some great environmental storytelling to amp it up just a notch, however, but nothing remarkable. Oh mama, we got some stuff to talk about right here, brothers, sisters, bratskis and bratutskis. Hold on to your hats and get ready. So Phantom Fury is a more interactive FPS than most out there. You can open doors, press on tabs, play minigames, drink and eat stuff to regain health. I'm just surprised I haven't seen any microwave where I can overcook something in it, because Phantom Fury is as Half-Life as it gets, friends. This game tries so hard in so many ways to be Half-Life. I'm talking everything from the environments, the interactivity, the puzzles, the enemies and the boxes, the goddamn boxes that are completely empty. I just don't understand. In Graven, a game developed by the same developer, we had empty barrels freaking everywhere. In Phantom Fury, we got empty Half-Life boxes freaking everywhere, and I just fail to see the point of overusing them to the degree that they are used in here. Now back to the point. Phantom is as Half-Life as it gets. Did that make sense? Nonetheless, it simply does not nail it. Let me explain.
The more you mess with me, the harder it gets for you.
Now let me start off with the good, okay? The guns, they are freaking kick-ass. They look awesome, there is a good variety to them, and the Loverboy, the big bad revolver, has an alternative fire that auto-aims for headshots. And you can lock in 3 targets at once with that, absolutely annihilating everyone and everything. Oh, and it also fires 3 rounds at once. Now there is also 2 shotguns, 1 pump action and 1 super shotgun that fires 3 shells at once. They look cool, they sound cool, but the enemies don't flinch to them as they should. That might sound like a petite, but it will all make sense sooner.
That's your next stop, Shelly. See if you can find some transportation out of here.
Now there is a whole lot of other guns in the game as well, and they are all decent, but the enemies don't react to them. Now you might think that the good stuff ends there. It does not, but there will be a lot of bad stuff mixed in with the good stuff, because I can't mention the good without also mentioning the bad. So my friends, the movement, it feels tight, although I am lacking a different animation for the weapons when you enter sprint. Sometimes it's hard even knowing if you're running or walking, as it looks exactly the same. And when you're not running or sliding and actually taking it a little slow, well, exploring the environment and taking a breather, there is actually quite a lot to do, like looking for secrets, playing minigames, etc. I'm just glad that there are secrets that rewards you with upgrade currency. But that's it! There's no secret counter, there's nothing telling you that you found a secret. You just see a purple glowing tube and you know that you strayed far enough from the main path that you found something that you might not have found if not for exploring. The upgrades, on the other hand, they are pretty cool. There is a heavy emphasis on upgrades for your biotic arm and suit. The 2 things in the game I use the absolute least out of all the equipment that the game offers. Now the weapons, they get 1 or 2 upgrades that ranges from burst fire modes to flashing lights that blinds the enemies. 100% glad that they are in there. Very sad to see most of the effort was put into the equipment that meant the least to me. Now the variety in the levels is a true highlight of the game. Many areas remind me a lot of Half-Life, but in a good way. Phantom has its own touch to it, ranging from sewers, secret facilities, the Grand freaking Canyon and forests. And some levels even offer a completely different gameplay experience compared to the prior level. One level even has you driving a car with a minigun on it, which is super cool, but far from, let's say, a Warthog experience in Halo. I mean, the controls, they're okay, but very stiff. The miniguns don't even fire at the center of the crosshair, making it super weird to fire with that minigun. And the bugs, man, the bugs are everywhere, really ruining the experience for these out-of-the-ordinary experiences. And the AI, man, talk about ruining the experience even further. Now let's backtrack a little bit, back to the interactivity. I do like all of the effort put into all the interactive elements in the game, and especially the PCs. They have some interesting text to them. Some even have buttons to unlock doors, and others they have emails that contains codes to unlock otherwise locked chests. But do know that these PCs are not optional. You always have to check them, because some of these codes or buttons are required for you to actually progress in the game. That said though, not once did I get stuck due to them, and at times you will come across some fun Easter eggs like the cultic one right here. Now even though I touched on some of it, let's move on to the not so good in the gameplay segment, because there is a whole lot more. So where do I even start, friends? This game is undercooked as a salmonella chicken. It shares a lot, and I mean a lot of the same problems that Graven has. The AI is outright horrendous at times, so much so that it made me frustrated when playing the game. I mean, the AI clip through cars and other things, run into boxes with not enough brain power to just walk to the side of them, run past the player like freaking buffoons. It feels like you're not even even standing there at times because they just run past you. And all of that said, I don't have a problem with semi-stupid AI, I really don't, but the level of stupid AI on display here ruins the experience. It's meant to be a challenging, somewhat immersive and competent first-person shooter, but it feels anything but it. It feels more like the AI is still in the testing phase, placed out in gorgeous environments. And the Half-like puzzles? Well, they're not much better. The game expects you to solve some puzzles here and there. Some are much simpler than others. It can range from stacking boxes on top of another, throwing grenades into small cracks, to some real running back and forth to surge electricity from a generator to a certain area to open this or that door. And actually, they are all pretty decent. I didn't mind any of them too much. They have a good level of easy and head scratching to them. But the non-existent polish of the game ruins them a lot. Say that you're stacking boxes on top of another, well, the wonky physics might just shoot one of the boxes straight for the moon at any given time, or yourself for that matter. Or take this electric puzzle right here. You have to enter this screen to divert power from one place to another, but they forgot to add an exit button for the screen, meaning I have to press escape and get to the pause menu every time I want to exit. And you will be doing that a lot, trust me. Now I want to touch on one more thing in the gameplay segment before we move on. The combat. While the weapons look and sound cool, the enemy feedback from getting shot is not as cool. They either don't react at all, or a head pops off, or they turn into a cloud of blood, dismembering every limb on their body. What I'm lacking here is something in between that. There is no flinching from getting shot, and then the stupidity of the AI did absolutely by no means help in this regard. There is some variety to the enemies, however. You will be fighting soldiers, mutants, and robots, all with different attacks to them, which could have ended in some great combat scenarios. But alas, none of them work on a technical level, all in all resulting in some rather unsatisfying and boring combat. What I actually found the most enjoyable and fun was exploring and solving the semi-broken puzzles, and when there was fighting to be had, I went more or less like this. Okay, let's just get done with this so we can move on. I want to emphasize that I am no professional reviewer. I do this as a hobby, but my goal is to make this full-time one day, but it will always be about me and my opinions when you check out one of my reviews. I wouldn't even call it a review, I would call it Zlim rambling on the game that is on screen right now, sharing his opinions and experience with the game. All in all, I'm just trying to help you decide if this game is for you or not by sharing my opinions and experience with it. If you want to call that a review or not, it's up to you. And if you agree with me or not in this review, even though it is very negative, take it with a grain of salt. It's my opinions, alright? Now back to the graphics. As I said, they are pretty damn gorgeous. And same goes with most of the audio design. When they are present, they are great. But I was really lacking more moody music. I mean, in combat, there is also often just silence apart from the guns. And when exploring, it's just silent throughout. What I mean here is that some nice moody music always helps amp up the experience. But it is simply not here. And the same actually goes with the graphics. When they work, they are beautiful to look at. But at times, things are just completely out of proportion. I mean, look at this. I look like a giant in front of a midget desk here. Or right here, where the road seems to be floating. It's just far too easy to spot these graphical glitches for me to not mention them, and them actually becoming disturbing to the overall experience. So what do we make out of all of this? Well, the game tries to be a Half-like. Really tries to be one. It succeeds in many ways, but fails in so many others. Where Half-Life is a super competent FPS, Phantom Fury is not. And that is due to the lack of atmosphere, a ton of bugs, lack of technicalities to both physics and AI behavior, and most of all, the overall polish of the game. I mean, a lot of visual glitches, enemies clipping, me actually having to restart from checkpoint due to getting stuck. Just small little annoyances everywhere that you look. And that completely ruins the experience in the end. And that said, I badly wanted to like this game. I wanted it to be better than it is. And it is by no means all bad, but it is a very unpolished experience that even for an early access title just would not have coped with me. And seeing as this is a full-blown 1.0 release, it just does not cut it for me at all. Hope is not all lost, however. These things I mentioned can get fixed in the future, but as is now, it pains me to say, but I do not recommend jumping into this right now. I do, however, recommend that you join the Discord linked in the description. It is the best freaking place on this thing called internet. We got giveaways, community nights, friends to be made, awesome discussions, and a hell of a lot more. And once you're done with that, take my hand and let's check out these.